Okay, so good morning once again, guys, and we're going to continue our discussion on R and R Studio. I uploaded another file this morning, and it's a continuation of the data structure. Okay, matrix operation. Let's see if we can get to this. Okay, it's just an amplification of what we have not yet discussed, actually, matrix operations in R, but we'll be able to do that. Now, may I have a survey if have you viewed the two videos on matrix operations? Because as I said, guys, I'm not going to anymore discuss yung matrix operations in Excel, because everything that you can do in Excel, we can do in R. Okay? And mas simple siya, mas mabilis kasi lines of code lang. Survey lang, guys. Pwedeng pakichat kung honestly lang, guys. If yes, yes. If no, no. It's okay, guys. Take your time. But I hope that that you'll be able to watch the videos on your own. Kasi kailangan natin na intindihan, kunyari inverse, yung determinants, yung matrix operations. Pakichat nga lang, guys. Quick survey kung yes or not yet. It's okay, guys, kung not yet. Pero ang gusto kong encourage kayo, guys, na panoodin nyo, ha? Okay, pakichat nga. Wala, please. I just like to make a very, very quick survey, formal survey. Again, you don't have to be ashamed kung hindi pa. It's no problem. Gusto ko lang makita kung generally how many have watched it. Wala bang nag-ano? Pa-chat nga, please. Ay, okay. Kanina pa pala kayong sumasagot, ano? Hindi ko nakikita. Okay, sige. Okay lang, guys, no? Pero sana this weekend, spend some time. I know it's quite lengthy kasi 2 sessions yon, 1 hour and 20 minutes on the average. So that's around 3 hours, no? Investment. Tapos kailangan nyo pang sundan din yung Excel file. The Excel file I have already uploaded also, guys. As in the Excel file. Ito yun, nasa 2.6. Okay. Okay, let's open the R file we were working on. Attendance, guys, mamaya na lang, ha, after the class. Okay, so very quickly, we were looking at vectors. Sabi natin vectors are type of data structure that contain only one data type. Kung numbers lahat, kung numeric lahat, integer lahat, etc. And then we said that lists may contain more than one. Okay, and how do we create a list package? Sorry. How do we create a list structure? Not package, structure pala. We use the function list, no? So we were working on this last time. Saan na siya? List, ayan, no? List. Okay, we use the list function in order to create a data structure which is a list. So let's go now to data frames. Data frames, guys, are structures that we're going to really use kasi most of the financial economic data are in this type. Data frames, as you know, are two-dimensional array-like structures. Two-dimensional kasi may rows and columns siya. And then they may contain different data types. It may be numerical, it may be integer, it may be character, it may be logical, it may be factors, no? It may be, as I mentioned, characters, no? So yun ang data frames. And there are certain requirements about data frames. Let's just take a look at them one by one. Number one, the column name should be non-empty. So dapat may pangalan yung columns. Kung may pangalan man yung rows, they should be unique. Okay. Tapos yung number 3, the data can be numeric, factor, character, etc. Different data types. And then each column must contain the same number of data items. In other words, yung mga rows dapat guys, yung mga rows dapat pareho silang size. Kung 200 observations yung nasa column 1, dapat 200 din yung nasa column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. Okay? Sometimes R would accept missing items, but that will be our discussion for another day. No? Okay, let's have this example. So we create an object called NSB. No? N is a vector of 3 numbers. S is a vector of 3 characters. And B is a vector of logical values. Okay, sabi natin, vector to, it's, we use the C, the concatenate or combine function. So let's run this. Let's run this. And so we have these values now. We have these vectors B and S. NBS, B and S. Okay, B is a logical vector, true, false, true. N is a numerical vector, and S is a character vector. Now we can combine this, okay, and we can coerce them to become a data frame, combine them to become a data frame. So here I'm creating an object called DF. It may be any other name. And then we use the function data.frame, just as we used list to create an object that's in a list structure. We also use a function called data.frame in order to create a data frame. So let's run this. And automatically it generates our DF. Kasi linagyan natin ng parenthesis dito, no? Okay, so that we don't have to type DF again. So you can see that this one, guys, it's a data frame. Okay. So you have here your column N, S, and B. And then they have your rows, row 1, row 2, row 3. Okay, so this is a data frame. Okay, let's create another one. Let's go to example 2. And this time, let's do some, let's create a sample where, which is usually seen, guys, in real scenarios. Okay, we're creating an object called employee.data. And this, we're creating a data frame. What are the variables that can be found in this data? Can you sound off, please? What are the variables that we can find in this data? How many variables can be found in this data frame?
Is it yung employee ID, employee
Yes.
name?
Okay, correct. Employee ID, and then employee name, and then
Salary and
salary.
start.
Yeah, thank you. So those are, yeah, correct. No? Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Jaylin. Okay. Who was the one who answered?
Me po, sir. Arman.
Arman, thank you. You're correct, no? So you have employee ID, employee name, salary, start date. You recall, guys, at the beginning of the term, I would tell you that when we assign a name to objects in R, you use the assignment operator, itong less than, minus, no? And this is one example why it's better to do this, because inside your function, you may be using equal, no? So baka magkaroon ng confusion kung equal pa rin to. No? So that's why to assign a particular name to an object in R, we use the assignment operator. Kasi tingnan yung ginamit natin equal dito, equal. No? Okay, so we have 4 variables here: employee name, employee ID, salary, and start date. This is an example of a data frame that's used in work, no? Kasi ito HR data to human resource data. So first we have this employee ID, and we're generating okay, so these are random numbers. How many elements do you have in this employee ID, guys? How many elements?
10 elements.
10 siya, no? 10. And these are numbers between 1,000 and 9999, no? Recall, guys, na yung run if, ang generate niyan are double, di ba? With decimal places. So we use the round function here, round, and we said that it should be no decimal place, no? Kaya naging whole numbers lang to. So here we're generating 10 random numbers. Will we have the same numbers, guys, when we run this? Answer, guys. Will we have the same numbers? Remember,
No.
randomize yan. Yes, correct. No.
No.
Bakit no?
Set.c.
Ha? Bakit no?
So, hindi po
Hindi kasi sa
nakaseed.
Oh, correct, no? Thank you. Hindi siya nakaset that seed. And random numbers yan, guys, no? Unless we use set that seed, hindi tayo magkakapare-pareho. Okay, that's good. Okay. I'm happy that you recall, you remember. So we have also employee name. So this is a vector of characters, no? Isi lang natin. So this is a vector of characters. Ilan siya? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 din, no? So di ba, ang condition, guys, pag data frame, kailangan pareho yung ano nila, no? Pareho yung number ng mga vectors natin. 10 si employee ID, 10 si employee name. Salary, guys, siguro monthly salary to, no? 10 din to, no? Also 10 yung salary items natin. And start date, kung kailan sila nagsimula. And here we have this parang character siya, di ba? 2012-11, pero we are forcing it to be as that date. Okay? If we do this as that date, it will make this data dates in R. No? Okay, also, we added this strings as factors is equal to false. Okay, para saan to, guys? Para saan tong strings as factors? You recall what are factors, guys? What are factors? Factors are character variables. They're character, guys, that can be used for classification. May ano ba dito? May data tayo dito, may variable tayo dito na pwede natin magamit as classifier. Employee name, guys, hindi naman natin ika-classify lahat ng mga Rick. I-classify natin as Rick yan. Lahat ng mga Gilbert, ka-classify natin as Gilbert yan. Can you cite, guys, examples of variables that can be used as factors? If you remember, guys, quickly, paki-chat lang or paki-voice out. Strings as factors, they will be very important later on pagpunta natin sa regression. Example, guys. Kunyari, ako na say, magbibigay na ako. Year level. Kunyari dito sa data frame natin, ilalagay natin. Kunyari, these are students. Example lang. Year level. So, iba sa inyo, ilalagay frosh, sophomore, junior, senior. Now, that type of data, guys, kunyari year level, it's character, but it can be considered as a factor. Kasi pwede siyang gamitin na classifier. So, lahat ng mga seniors, lahat ng mga juniors, pwede siyang i-classify. Okay, so those are factors. Ano pa? Gender. Okay, male, female. Ano pa? Let's say residence. Makati, Manila, Las Piñas, Parañaque, etc. So those guys can be considered as factors. They'll be very useful when we go to applications of data science. For example, multiple regression. Okay, so that completes our code. Let's run this code chunk, and we're putting it in parentheses so that it will automatically print the employee.data frame. Okay, so this is now a data frame, diba? So we have the names of our columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, start date. Okay, and then you have a generic name for your rows, ID 1 to 10 lang. Okay. Clear to, guys, so far? So this is an example of a data frame. Iba't ibang data types yung mga columns natin. Okay? And these are two-dimensional kasi may column siya at saka may rows siya. Okay, any questions? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's go on. Let's move on to another example. Okay, so dito, guys, we're creating an object. Una, let's create an object called ID. So yung ID natin, it's, ano to, guys? Anong klaseng data type to? Yung 1 to 200. Quickly, guys.
Integer.
Yeah,
So,
it's an integer kasi we use yung column 1 to 200. That's an integer. And then let's create also another object called group. And ano laman itong group na to, guys? What does the rep function do? It repeats, no? It's a combination of a repetition of the word vehicle 100 times, comma, repeat also drug 100 times. Okay, so all in all, ang number of, yung length nitong object nito is 200. So pareho dito siya sa ID. Remember guys, pag data frame, kailangan pareho yung sample size natin. And then we have response. Okay, again, this is a random number. Our norm, ilan lahat? 100. With the mean of 25 and the standard deviation of 5, 100 siya. And then comma, another R norm, guys, 100 also. This time with the mean of 23 and S standard deviation of 5. Okay, and then we create a data frame, an object called my data, and it's a data frame consisting of, okay, take a look at this, guys. You have ID, group, and response. Kaso guys, ang ginawa natin, yung ID, we gave it a name, patient. So patient is equal to ID, treatment is equal to group, and response, capital R, is equal to the small r response here. So pinalitan natin yung mga pangalan ng ID, group, at saka response. Okay, these are not objects itself, no? Si patient hindi object yan. Ang object yan si ID kasi ito, no? Kaso pinalitan natin yung pangalan dun sa data frame. Do you understand my explanation, guys? Naintindihan ba? Okay, sige. Thank you. Thank you. So let's run this. Yeah, let's run it one at a time. Okay, thank you for chatting. Thank you. Okay, so si ID, guys. So nag-create tayo ng ID. Ayan, lumabas yung 1 to 100, 1 to 200. So pare-pareho tayo niya ng 1 to 200. And then si group, let's create this object called group. Okay, if you can see, guys, dito sa element number 197, drag siya. No? 197, 198, 199, 200. So 200 elements dito sa object natin na to, dito sa vector natin na to. Yung first 100, but this is the 97, 98, 99, 100. First 100 elements of our object is the character, vehicle, and the next 100 is drug. Okay, let's do now response. We'll have different answers here. Okay, so 100 then, these are randomized, random, normally distributed numbers. Yung first 100 has a mean of 25, standard deviation of 5. Yung second 100 has a mean of 23, standard deviation of 5. Okay. All right, so let's now create a data frame from that. Control Enter. Okay, so here is our data frame, guys. Andito sa console natin. Okay, so it's better to look at this. Dito na lang natin hanapin. So where's my data? Click natin dito. So that it appears here as a, okay, in spreadsheet type. Take a look at the row column. Yung ID ginawa niyang patient, yung response ginawa niyang treatment, at saka yung small letter R response ginawa niyang big letter R response. So you can change the names of your columns. However, guys, yung patient, guys, hindi object yan, it does not appear here. If you take a look at your objects, wala namang patient dito, no? Merong ID, no? Yun ang create natin kanina. Okay, walang treatment, pero may response. Pangalan lang siya, guys. Pangalan lang siya. They are just names of your data frame. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions so far, guys? Hindi lumalabas yung Sometimes it doesn't appear. Okay. All right, no questions? Okay, so let's do some operations on our data frame. Okay, you know already that if we use the head function, it will give us the first 6 rows of our data. And okay, first 6 rows. And then okay, take note guys that we'll have the different answers, no? Kasi random yung normally distributed na random numbers yung natin, ginamit natin. But of course, yung patient, kasi 1 up to 200 yan, pare-pareho tayo. Pati si vehicle, our response will be different. Okay, default first 6 rows, and then if we want the first 15 rows, so this is it, the first 15 rows. And then the tail will give us the last, on default, 6, but we said 12, so the last 12 rows of our data frame. And then we can ask for the size of our data frame, dimension. So there are 200 rows and 3 columns. Length will be the number of responses. The length will be the number of variables. So yung mga data natin, ang length niya, tatlong variables. And then for the structure, okay, it will tell us that this is a data frame consisting of 200 observations with 3 variables. And then it will give us the names of our variables. Okay, naalala itong $sign guys. So itong patient na to, ang pangalan ng variable niyan is my data $patient. My data refers to the name of the object, my data, and $patient to refer to that particular column. So it's an integer. My data $treatment, it's a character consisting of the vehicle and ano pa yung isa? Drug. And then response, the response variable, these are double, no? Numeric siya. And summary, guys, we know that it will give us for patient here, guys, since it's considered as numeric, integer, kukunin pa rin niya, since number yan, kukunin niya yung minimum, maximum, first quartile, etc. But of course, it has no meaning kasi ID lang yan. Ang may meaning, guys, yung response, no? Kasi you have the minimum, maximum, first quartile, second quartile, which is your median, and the third quartile, and also the average. See, treatment, since it's a character variable, it will not compute for the 6 number summaries. Ito yung 6 number summaries natin, no? Kasi hindi naman niya mako-compute yung minimum at saka maximum niyan. However, it will tell us of the class, which is character, and sabi natin si mode, pareho lang ng class yan. Okay, so let's do some more subsetting. No? Let's do some subsetting. How do you get a particular element in a data frame? Well, we can use the brackets. So here we're telling R, use the object myData and get the first row and the second column. So if we run this, yung first number dito guys, yung number of row, yung second is the number of column. Okay, so if we run that, ito, no? Ito yun. Vehicle. Bakit naging vehicle? Let's take a look at our data. Okay, so this is our data frame, myData. What's the first row here? This is the first row. And what's the second column? Ito yung second column. So yung intersection yan, yung vehicle. Okay, that's why it gave us the answer, vehicle. Okay, ganun din guys. If we ask for the second row, third column, it's 30.152823. You'll have a different answer. Second row, third column, second 30.15. Okay, and of course you can also ask R to generate contiguous rows. Contiguous guys yung, let me just write that. Contiguous rows and columns. Contiguous guys yung continuous. So this is row 1 to 20 and then columns 2 and 3. So here we'll just generate an object, a vector, a data frame, subset of this data frame rows 1 to 20, and columns 2 and 3. Okay, ano ba yung columns 2 and 3? So I expect only treatment and response to be generated from this code. Yan. So treatment lang at saka response. Yan, treatment, response, wala yung patient number. Kasi sabi natin second and third rows lang, columns lang, and then rows 1 to 20. 1 to 20 lang. Okay? How about this, guys? How about this? 1 to 20, and then blank here. What does the blank here mean?
All po.
Everything, no? Everything in your column. So if we run that, it will give us the 3 columns and then the first 20 rows. Okay, so the 3 columns, which is your patient, and then treatment, and then response. Okay, pwede rin guys na non-contiguous, no? So let's have an example. So C, pwedeng 1 up to 5 at saka 21 at saka 25. And then that's for the row, and for the column you have say 3, 100, 150, 199. Okay, so this is subsetting my data as shown by the bracket here. Then it consists of this contiguous 1 to 5, rows 1 to 5. Pero ito, non-contiguous siya, no? Row 21 and 25. Tapos yung columns naman natin, sorry, mali ito. Sorry. 1 and 3. Okay, tatatlo lang pala yung columns natin. So it's just column 1 and column 3. Okay, so let's run this. Okay. If you take a look, guys, what rows are included? Rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 21 and 25. 21 and 25. And then yung columns natin, first lang at saka third. Yung patient number at saka yung response. Okay, clear yun, guys? Clear? Any questions? Hindi ko nakikita yung chat.
None, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, ito guys, itong codes na to, it will give us the same answers. So my data, rows number, empty siya, kaya lahat yan. And then the third column daw. Ito naman, my data, all the rows, and then define natin guys kung anong column, response. Or, as I mentioned a while ago, my data $response. All of these chunks of codes, guys, will give us the same subset of my data. Okay, try this, guys. Okay, are they the same?
Yes po.
Okay, pare-pareho lang siya, no? Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, we can also subset different elements by using yung mga operators natin. So take a look at this code, my data, and then we're saying that yung response dapat greater than 26. Tapos lahat ng columns. So here we expect that the subset data frame will be all the columns, yung patient, tapos yung treatment, tapos yung response, tapos lahat lang ng may mga response na greater than 26. So let's run this. So ito yun, no? This one. So asan ba yung mga response natin dito? So if you notice, sa response ko, lahat ng response ko guys, lahat yan greater than 26. we will not see an element here that's not greater than 26. Okay, so that's how we make use of operations in order to subset. So let's continue. How about this one, guys? So my data, okay, yung treatment daw dapat vehicle and yung response less than 23. So this identifies our row. Yung column natin, lahat. So what do we expect here? Pag end ang ginamit natin, guys, class, kailangan both conditions have to be met. No? So vehicle lang, okay, tapos yung response, dapat less than or equal to 23. So I will not see a drug, a treatment that's a drug in this subset. So let's run this. Okay, tingnan nyo guys, lahat vehicle lang. Tapos yung response dapat less than or equal to 23. I will not see here any response that's greater than 23. And neither will I see a non-vehicle item here. Because of this strict condition na dapat both conditions have to be met. Ito naman guys, or. So pag or guys, what happens? Lahat ba dapat vehicle yon?
No, sir.
Bakit kailangan? Oo. Okay. Yeah, this is the syntax for ano, no? For, say, that's a good question. Subukan natin guys, ano nga. Let's see if it will run. Let's see if this will run. That's a good question. Yung question dito, bakit dalawa daw yung equal sign? Okay, let's see ha. Okay, nagsi-syntax error sa atin. No? Can you see guys? Now, ang ano ko dito, I think it's when you are creating equal sign and then character yung ano niya, dapat dalawa. Kasi kapag number, okay lang naman eh. Kapag number, okay lang siya. Pero pag character, if you're equating it to a character, I noticed that it should be double equal. No? Thank you for that question. That's yeah, I saw, sorry I failed to mention that kung bakit. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Okay, so let's go to another code here. Okay, how about this guys? Ano ibig sabihin nito? Or. Pag or guys, either of this pwede. So pwede ba tayo makakita ng drug dito sa subset na to? Yes. Hindi lang vehicle, pwede maging drug for as long as the other condition is met. For as long as greater than 21 siya, pwedeng kasama yung drug. Also, makakakita ba tayo ng less than 21? Yes. For as long as vehicle siya. So it's a soft requirement. Basta masunod lang yung any of this. So kahit yung isang ma-violate, basta masunod yung isang condition. Okay, so let's run this. Okay. As I told you last time guys, sabi dito vehicle daw. Pero bakit may drug? Kasi nasunod naman yung other condition niya na greater than 21. So, okay? May makikita ba tayo ng na less than 21 dito? Let's see. Meron ba less than 21? Meron sa akin, no? 19. 19. Bakit siya sinama? Kasi na-meet naman yung other condition of vehicle. Okay? So that's what this means. Yung vertical bar na to, itong bar na to, no? Okay, how about the next one? So ito, ano ibig sabihin ng exclamation point equal to? Guys, what does this mean? It means not equal to. No? So ibig sabihin, pag not equal to, this is the same as saying is equal to drug. And or my response is greater than 24. So is it possible to have vehicle as a subset here? Yes, guys. Yes. Kahit sa sinabi niyang not equal to vehicle, pwede pa rin for as long as greater than 24 siya. Pwede bang less than 24? Yes. For as long as drug siya. No? Kasi not vehicle. Eh. For as long as nasusunod tong condition na to. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so tingnan muna natin ha. Ito expected ko yung drug. Expected ko yan kasi sabi, wag lang daw vehicle. Pero scrolling up, may vehicle ba? Yes, may vehicle. Oh. May vehicle. Akala ko ba wag vehicle? Oo, wag vehicle nga. Kaso may another condition tayo, or. And that is greater than 24. So if you notice, lahat ng vehicle dito, greater than 24. May makikita ba tayo na less than 24 dyan? Yes. Ito, less than 24 to. Eh bakit pinasok? Di ba greater than 24 dapat? For as long as the other condition is met. Dapat daw not vehicle. So ang not vehicle, guys, drug yun. Okay, so you see, these are numbers that are not less than 24, pero sinama siya sa subset kasi not vehicle siya. Okay? Which is the same as this one, guys. Okay, itong not vehicle is just equal to drug kasi dadalawa lang naman sila, no? Kung hindi siya vehicle, obviously drug siya. So this and this will yield the same results. You can just check it, guys. It will be the same results. No? Okay, any questions so far, guys? Can voice out, guys. Clear ba? Paki-sound off na lang.
Clear, sir.
Okay,
Clear
thank you.
po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Okay, how about this one? Okay, here we generate another object called age. And nag-ano naman tayo, no? Normally distributed to, random numbers, 200 siya. Mean is 40, standard deviation is 20. Okay, naka-round siya. Round. Pag walang zero dito, ibig sabihin, default na yun na zero yung decimal. Ay, wait. Okay, sorry. Zero yung decimal place, kaya walang decimal place yung random numbers nito. And then what are we doing here? So dito, guys, sabi natin, my data, $age. So we're creating an object. Okay, actually, it's a column. No? Column siya saan? Sa my data. Take note, guys, that my data is a data frame. Tapos ina-append natin itong $, tapos age. Ang sinasabi natin dito kay R, magdagdag ka nga ng isang column dito sa my data na ang pangalan yung age. Tapos ang laman nun, itong age na to, yung generate natin dito. Okay? So this is adding a column to your data frame, which is my data. So recall, guys, in order to access a particular column in a data frame, you have to name the data frame, in this case, my data, and then use a $sign in order to access that specific column. Dito, nag-create tayo. Sabi natin dito, gumawa ka ng isang object dito sa my data, diba? Naka-define na yung my data natin as a data frame, and then give it a name called age. And then ang laman niya, yung age na to. Ano ba yung age na to? Ito, guys. So let's run this first. Okay, so we'll have different answers. Let me just check our object natin and asa na siya. Ito si age, no? Age. 200 elements. So ito yung mga numbers niya. Okay, and then so ito yung mga 8. Oops, dali. Hala, may negative. Kasi may negative, ano? Okay, how do we change this, guys? May negative siya. Paano yan? Hindi naman pwede magka-age ng ano, ng negative. How do we change this, guys? Sige. Yung binigay ko, guys, kanina, yung matrix operations ito eh. We can use this function. Kaso, we can use as that integer, no? Kasi i-define natin yung minimum at saka si maximum. Okay, so mamaya na yan natin gawin, guys. Mean 40. O, pag R norm kasi, guys, pag R norm, pwedeng mean natin 40, standard deviation 20. Yeah, pwede magkaroon ng negative yan. Nagka-negative ba sa inyo?
Yes po.
O, na-oversee ko to.
Sir.
Okay, so be that as it may, guys, let's just leave that muna, no? Ang importante sa atin yung generating this column. Okay, we'll address that na lang later, no? So para umabot lang tayo sa sa matrix, and doon natin i-discuss yung generating yung positive lang. Okay, then so ano mangyayari dito? So I created this, my data na may age siya. Okay, and then so you now have an object. Balikan natin tong my data. Tingnan natin my data, guys. 200 observations siya. Kanina 3 variables lang to, di ba? Ngayon 4 variables na siya. Kasi dinagdag natin yung age as a column head. Okay. So ito na siya, no? Yung first 6 elements. So you have patient, treatment, response, and age. Okay, any questions, guys?
None, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sige. Ano ba yung time natin? 9:15 pa, konti na lang. So very quickly, guys, if you haven't installed, yung Lubridate, it's a package that's very useful for dates as a structure, as a type, no? So let's install this package, Lubridate. Na-install ko na siya, kaya gagamitin ko na yung library. I'll give you a minute or so to install yung Lubridate package. Okay, have you installed it? Then require it, guys. Reminder lang, guys, this is how we install packages in R. We install packages. And this is a package that uses functionalities for. Okay, thank you. So require na natin, guys. Okay, thank you. Okay, now this function, guys, yung MDY, i-run natin sa console, MDY. Ano tong MDY na to? So you have this MDY, month, date, year, R, with hours and minutes, with hours, minutes, seconds. So structure na to, no? We'll get to learn more of this when we go to later on sa application sa time series. Okay, so MDY, guys, this is coming from your Lubridate package. Kaya nga natin in-install to sa Lubridate, no? Okay, transforms data stored in character. Usually kasi pag sinulat natin, guys, so kunyari 2010, 0101, January 1, 2010, it will be read as character. But we don't want that. We want that to be read as a date. So transforms dates stored in character and numeric vectors to date or POSIX CT objects. Okay, these are time series, time zones with time zones. No, these functions recognize arbitrary non-digit separators as well as no separator. Okay, so my either YMD year month date or year date month or month date year MDY or month year date etc. So several formats, several formats, and then this is the example. This is the function, and then you have here the explanation of the parameters used. in this function. So may example yata dito. Okay, tingnan natin itong example dito sa ilalim, guys. No? So here we're creating an object called x. Okay, copy na natin to. Gamitin natin examples ni ito. Let's copy this. Ito, copy natin itong mga examples nito. Control C. Let's put it here. So here we create an object called x, and it's a vector of, okay, it's a vector of these characters. Parang lumalabas siya na characters, although we want this to be dates. No? This is January 1, 2009, January 2, 2009. Run muna natin to. So may X object na tayo dito. Okay, here. No? If we click this, may nag-question ba? Okay, so did anyone of you experience na yung lubricate not available for this version of R? Okay, there are ways to install a package when it conflicts with your R version. Kung latest version ng R yan, there should be no problem. Pero sige, we'll address that later na lang, no? So tingnan, kasi medyo mahabang resolution. We will have to use some chunks of code pag nagka-conflict yung package nyo at saka yung R version nyo. Kasi that happens, guys, kasi yung ibang R, yung mga package sometimes hindi pa siya na-update. So baka hindi siya gagana dun sa specific R version na meron kayo, no? But let me address that later na lang, ha? Okay, so let's see X, guys. I hope that's okay. Okay. But in the meantime, Carl, siguro ang gawin mo, ang dami sa internet niyan, how to install package that does not match the R version, the version of R or R Studio. And then you'll easily find may mga yan. Ang maganda, guys, sa Stack Overflow or sa GitHub, these are sites where people are put forward questions about codes in R, and then ang dami na kasi sumasagot, kaya you'll find really it's a community of where people help each other. Kaya ako kunyari may mga questions din ako kung I encounter some difficulties, I encounter some problems in coding sa R. I just go to GitHub. Okay, let me write that. No? Itong dalawa yung dito na lang sa sulat ko lang GitHub. Yung isa yung Stack Overflow. Okay, these are very popular sites, okay, where people post questions and people answer yung mga issues nila sa R, sa Python, etc. Okay, so going back, guys, so generate ko na si X. It's a character vector. Kung i-print ko siya, X.
Sir, sorry, I have a question po.
Yes, sige.
Is it the same as yung as.date na po? Like, does that also give you
yes. It will also give you the same Kaso mas simple to, no? Kasi pag as, ito kasi may different functionality siya. It can be YMD, MDY, DMY, etc. No? So pag as.date kasi isang format lang yon. Okay, so here you're specifying na yung 09 dapat yung year yan, yung month is ito yung pangalawa, ito yung day. Okay, if that's really what you mean, no? Okay, clear ba yun,
Yes,
guys?
sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Thank you,
here
sir.
I'm saying YMD kasi sinulat ko yung ano na to, yung character na to refer to mean that this is the year, this is the month, and this is the day. Of course, if you wrote it in such a way that this should be the day and this should be the month, then dapat ang magiging code mo is YDM, no? So that there's a difference. Depende kasi on how you wrote the element. Okay, so we will convert this X using the lubridate. Okay, so just to make this clear, this is coming from the lubridate. Okay, so it can be written, the code can be written as this one. Lubridate :YMD. This tells us that this function YMD came from the package lubridate. Sometimes it's useful to use this, especially kung may mga functions na which are used in 2 or more packages. Okay, you get that? Kunyari summary, example lang ha. Let's say summary comes from package 1 or package 2. And then they might have different results. So in order for you to specify kaninong package po ginagamit yung summary function, you have to write package 1, for example, and then double colon, and then summary. No? So that's what this means. So sinulat ko lang para alam natin na itong YMD function na to, it came from the package lubridate. So let's run this. So we're converting now. We're converting now CX. Okay, so let's see, guys. So what's now the class of X? Okay, ano nangyari? Character siya, kaso so this one is now class of X. So character siya. And then we converted X into, let's run this. Class of X. Character pa rin. Okay, may problema yata ako dito. But this should have already been converted. Check na natin. Okay, wait. So let me print this first. Okay. Now I know. Kasi guys, kinonvert lang naman natin si X. Pero si X still remains the same, di ba? I think what I should have done was to create an object called X1. So let's create an object called X1. Okay. Let's create an object called X1, and then it is converting your X into year, month, date. And then let's print this. Sorry, kamali ako din. Okay, so ito na, no? So we created an object called X1, and we used lubridate package in order to convert CX into year, month, date. Okay, so then we printed X1, and then we get the class of X1. Okay, so date na siya. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, clear yun, guys? Ulitin ko So X is a vector of characters, no? Pag tinanong na natin yung class ni X, it's character. So yun. But we want X to be treated as a date and not a character. So we create an object called X1 and then use this function YMD, which converts X into YMD. So kanina guys, I just asked for X. Eh, ang X natin ito eh. So if we really want to generate an object that's date, then we create an object, no? A different object, X1. So and then we were able to see that indeed this is a date object. Okay, clear yun, guys? Clear?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, good. So depende yun, guys, sa ano, no? YMD. So this is just a repetition. Okay, you can also use this, ito, no? 090101 or 90102. Tingnan natin to, okay, kinonvert niya, no, si 0901. So there are two elements here. Yung year sinulat lang niya as 90102. So binasa ni R na yung first one, yung 9 is 2009. And then 0102 is your month and your date. Okay? What about this one, guys? Ano yung code na to? Now, and then, what's this? What will this give us? Tingnan nga ito. I'm not sure about this. Okay, anong ibig sabihin ito, guys? What do you think is the meaning of this code? How does this work, guys? Kasi ang dates talaga sa ano yan, even sa Excel or sa R, dates are really represented by numbers. Okay, so it would be good for you guys to determine ano yung zero date sa R. Okay, so that's a good question. I want you to research on that. Kasi sa Excel, yung particular date is equal to 0. Kaya nga guys, nakukuha natin, we can subtract, no? We can get the number of days. Okay, so we can get the number of days. We can subtract dates and get the number of dates. Let me illustrate that kasi parang masyadong example ko. No? So let's create an object, A1. Let's call it A1. And then this is YMD. Okay, ano gusto niyo yung date, guys? Let's say 1998, for example, dash, ang month natin 12, then 10. Okay, so how will R read this? Object A1, we're converting it into what year, month, date, tapos ito yung character niya. So 1998, December 12, no? Let's run that. And then let's create another object. Let's call it B1. Yung B1, guys, now. So this will give us yung date today. No? Now, let's print that. B1, print natin. Okay, now, no? Ito guys yung POSIX city, no? Kasi may date, hours, kasama yung minutes, hours, minutes, seconds. It's 10:23:38 now. CST. So what's this? What's CST? Central Standard Time. 10:23:38. Okay. May CST pa siya dito based on CST. Anyway, we'll not look at the details of this. Hindi naman natin kailangan yan. So we have A1 and B1, guys, no? A1 and B1. Now, B1 minus A1. What happens when we do that, guys? Now, gawin natin ano to. Kasi iba yung structure. See, ano to POSIX XT. Gawin natin YMD nito. No? Oops, ayaw. Wag na lang muna yung now. May problema tayo dito eh. Yung now, ginawa kong YMD, hindi siya pwede. No? Sorry guys, I'm just cooking up some examples here. So let's see, 20, 20, 21, okay, and then 03, and then 17. So I created an object here, B1, year, month, date, 2021, 03, yung date natin ngayon. Print natin. Okay, ito siya, no? 2021, 03, 17. Yung kanina guys, yung ginamit natin na now, unfortunately, ibang klaseng ano to, no? Ibang klaseng class. Sorry, ang daming nasa isip ko. Ang dami kong gustong sabihin, pero limited na yung pag-type ko. Okay, tingnan nyo guys. Huh? So what happened here? Remember, A1 guys is December 10, 1998. B1 is March 17, 2021. Dates to, di ba? Minus natin, may lumabas na answer. 8133. Now, it just means that each date, each particular date in R is represented by a number. So ito, number actually yan. Ito din number yan. Ang tanong, so kung number yan, ano yung date, ano yung time 0? Ano yung time 1? Correct. Thank you so much, Sophia. So it told us the yung kung ilang days between A1 and B1. So it just tells us that this one, guys, these dates pertain to a particular number. Okay? It pertains to a particular number. Itong date na to, it's represented by a number and also this date. Otherwise, hindi niya mamaminus yan. Hindi siya magkakaroon ng 8133. So ang question sa inyo, anong number is represented by 1998, no? 1210. Okay, anong number to? Tapos anong number yung 0? 0 date sa R. Ano yung ginagawa niyang beginning date? That will be your 0. No? So, I'd like you to take a look at that. So, ito naman, DMY. Back here guys, sorry dito So, ito, bakit naging true to? Kasi ang sinasabi natin, yung now, is it greater than January 1, 2029? The answer is true. How come it's true? Because now pertains to a number, and the number now is greater than the number that represents 2009-0101. Okay? Okay, so sandali lang guys. Let me leave this yung dates no kasi medyo mas ano tong dates na to no. Marami pang nuances yan. Because I want to start already with matrix para pag pinanood nyo guys yung ano yung video, medyo may understanding na kayo. Okay, so I leave you guys to look at this. Self-explanatory naman to, no? Okay, here you're just creating, sige na, tapusin natin to para tapos na itong dates na to. So here you're creating an object called B-Day. Okay, date, month, year, date 14, month 10, year 1979. So this is October 14, 1979. Okay, so let's run this. Yung B-Day na to. So it's a date, no? B-Day, take a look at this. It's a date, 1979, 10, 14. Okay, so let's ask, ano ba yung month ni B-Day? Okay, yan, no? Ang answer sa atin, ang month niya, 10. So that's October. Okay, so let's run this. Ano yung weekday ni B-Day? Okay, label is equal to true. Okay, ano siya guys? Ano siya? So yung ano daw, yung day na to, okay, let's go back here. Yung October 14, 1979, it's a Sunday. So if you were born on this date, you were born on a Sunday. Yun ang sinasabi niyan. Okay, correct. So it tells us the specific date, no, of this particular date. No? Okay, tapos anong year ni birthday? Year, B-day. Anong year niya? 1979. No? Okay, is year B-day less than 2016? So that's true. Year ng birthday, let's assign 2016. Ibig sabihin nito, year ng birthday, gawing 2016. So, B-day ngayon. Okay. Nakuha niyo to, guys? Sorry, ang bilis ko, no? Ito ang sinasabi natin na yung year ni birthday, which is 1979, gawin natin 2016. So, pinalitan natin. Okay? Kasi ito yung year ng birthday, 1979. Pinalitan natin siya ng 2016. So, yung birthday natin ngayon, na bago na. Naging October 14, 2016 na. Okay? So, yung weekday ngayon, naging Friday na. Kung 2016 na yan. Okay? Guys? So, ito naman, year, month, date. Okay? Ito, year, day, month. Okay. Tapos ito, MDY_HMS. No? So, that will add yung hours, minutes, at saka seconds. Okay. So, I think that's enough, guys, for dates. Anyway, pag nag-time series tayo towards the end, babalikan natin yan with more applications. Okay, let's go to the last data type that data structure that we want to study. And that's a matrix. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Nagawa ko na sa kabilang section. Okay. Matrix, guys, okay, two-dimensional din siya. Okay, ang default nito, ang default ng function niya is matrix and then data, and then number of rows, number of columns, then kung by row. Okay, let me explain this. Ang default kasi pag wala ito, the matrix is filled up by column. So, pinifill up siya pababa. Pag ginawa natin by row is equal to 2, i-fill up siya horizontally. Okay, n row is the number of rows, n column is the number of columns. Okay, so let's have an example. Kaya importante, guys, na mapanood niyo yung video kasi mas ine-explain dun yung fundamentals. No? So here we're creating a matrix called A. Okay, ang function natin to create a matrix is matrix. And then ito yung mga elements natin. 2, 3, -2, 1, 2, 2. So how many elements are these? Ilan yung numbers natin, guys? Ito yung data natin. How many? Hello, guys. Hello, ilan?
6 po.
6 lang, no? Yung mga numbers 2, 3, -2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, so ano to? Yung first number is number of rows. So ang sinasabi natin, create a matrix for this set of data, 3 rows and then 2 columns. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, tingnan nyo, guys, how was this set? So this is matrix A. No? Notice sa dulo, hindi tayo naglagay ng by row. No? So pag hindi natin linalagay ng by row yan is equal to true, ang default niyan, if you fill up niya by column. Tingnan nyo. 2, 3, -2, how was this filled up? 2, 3, -2, and then 1, 2, 2. Fill up niya pababa. No? Gets, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and how many rows do we have here? 3 rows, 1, 2, 3. How many columns? 2 columns. So matrix A is a 3 by 2 column, 3 by 2 matrix. No? So let's create another object, A10. Okay, this is now same elements, pero 2 by 3. 2 rows, 3 columns. Let's see what happens. Let's run this. Okay. So isabay na lang natin i-run para pareho natin makita. So si A at saka si A10. So you see this? So you see the difference between A and A10. Diba? So ito parehong fill up by column. Pababa mo na 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, is it clear guys on how R sets up a matrix? Pababa yung ano niya, pababa yung paggawa niya, no? Ito 3 by 2. The other one is 2 by 3. Okay? Saan nanggaling yon? Kasi yung unang number dito, actually the complete code of this n row is equal to, yan yung complete code, no? N call. Okay, so sometimes you'll see this. But oftentimes, hindi na natin linalagay kasi understood na yan. Ang default nito sa R, yung unang number dito after your data is the number of rows and then the number of columns. So if you run this, you'll also get the same answer. Yun pa rin. Okay? So is A a matrix? We can ask, is that matrix A? Okay, so it's true, it's a matrix. Is that vector, okay, false siya? Hindi sa vector, guys. Remember, si vector, one-dimensional lang yan. Okay, si matrix, guys, is two-dimensional kasi may rows and columns. Dimension A, that will give us the size. It's a 3 by 2 matrix. Okay, clear so far, guys? Okay, so
Clear po, sir.
okay, while we're here, gawin natin to, no? Control C, Control V. So let's create a matrix called A1. Ganun din, n row. So this is your ano, n row and column, and then comma by row. By row is equal to either true or capital T. Okay, anong ginagawa nito, guys? Ang default kasi, di ba, ang default, if you fill up ni R, pababa yung mga numbers. No? Pag ginawa natin by row is equal to 2, generate natin. Okay, tingnan nyo, guys. How was the matrix generated? 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 2. Diba? Ito yung ano natin, elements natin. Tingnan nyo kung paano siya pinila po. By row siya. Pa-right, no? 2, 3, negative 2, 1, 2, 2. Okay, so do you see the distinction, guys, between A and A1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so importante yan, guys, kasi depende kung paano natin gustong i-fill up yung matrix, yung form, yung ano na matrix, no? So it will have a bearing on how we write our data. Okay? Okay, you can multiply matrices, no? So let's create an object called C, which is equal to 3, and then we can perform C times A. So this is just scalar multiplication. Run natin to. Okay, and then what happened was you just multiply all the elements of the matrix by 3. So ganun lang yun. That this is multiplying a matrix by a scalar amount. Okay, addition of matrix, guys. Okay, again, I'd like to encourage you to watch the video. So here we're creating an object called B. Okay, 1, 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 1. How will this be generated, guys? Paano siya fill upan? Pababa o pakanan? Yung elements.
Pababa.
Pababa. Kasi ang default yan, by row is equal to false. Ano? Ibig sabihin, pababa niya, if you fill up, let's check. So CC, 1, 4, negative 2, 1, 4, negative 2, pababa. No? 1, 2, 1. So si ano guys, so i-generate ko lang dito. So si A, generate natin tong si A and B. Sabay. Okay. So this is B, this is A. We can add matrices. Matrix addition, guys, very simple. Elemental lang yung pag-add. 1 plus 2, 4 plus 3, ganun lang. So let's run that. See? Okay. So in-add lang niya yung bawat element. Okay. And D naman, minus lang. Okay. Minus lang niya each of the elements. Okay. So ang matrix addition at saka matrix multiplication, it can only be done if they have the same size. 2 by 3 by 2, tsaka 3 by 2 pwede ma-add. 2 by 3, 2 by 3 pwede ma-add. Pag magkaiba guys, pag magkaiba, hindi pa pwede. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, now let's go to matrix multiplication kasi ito medyo iba yung rule nito. So let's create a matrix called E. Ang laman niya, actually, ito din yata yung ano, no? Ito din yung A, no? Let's call it E. Okay, 3 by 2. Si F naman, ito yung laman niya, 2 by 3. Okay, so let's run this. So this is E, which is a 3 by 2 matrix. At saka si F, which is a 2 by 3 matrix. All right. Now, sa matrix multiplication, guys, may rule yan. So ito yung rule niya. So if you want to multiply, let's say, F times E, you have to define first the size of matrix F. What's the size of matrix F, guys? Based on this. What's the size of matrix F?
2 by 3 po.
2 by 3. What's the size of matrix E? 3 by 2. Okay, so two matrices are multiplicable if and only if column of matrix 1 is equal to the row of matrix 2. So yun yung rule, guys, no? Two matrices are multiplicable if and only if the column of the first na lang to is the same as the row of second. Okay? Column of first matrix is equal to row of the second matrix. Tingnan nyo to, guys. Si F 2 by 3, si E 3 by 2. So multiplicable siya kasi yung column ni number 1 is the same as the column of number 2. Row of number 2. So 3, 3 equal siya. So multiplicable siya. Ang resultant matrix is 2 by 2. Yung outers, no? 2 by 2. Okay? So hindi commutative ang matrix multiplication. How about si ano, guys, si E times F, multiplicable ba siya?
Yes
E is
po.
3 by 2, F is 2 by 3. So multiplicable din siya, no? Kasi pareho yung column ni matrix 1 at saka row ni matrix 2. However, guys, the sizes are different. Ito 3 by 3. Ito naman 2 by 2. So magkaibang matrix sila. So which tells us that unlike sa arithmetic, no? 3 times 2 is just the same as 2 times 3. Sa matrix, hindi. In fact, pwedeng let me cite this. Kunyari, we have a matrix H. Matrix H has a 3 by 4 matrix, and J is a 4 by 2 matrix. Okay, is H and J multiplicable, guys?
Yes po.
Yes, pwede, no? Pwede siya, no? Yes, because yung column ni H is the same as the row of the of J. Pero how about J times H? Is J times H multiplicable? J is 4 by 2 and H is 3 by 4. Are they multiplicable? Guys, pwede ba?
No po.
Hindi siya pwede, no? This proves that there's no such thing as commutativity in matrix multiplication. Sa algebra lang yun, no? 4x times 3y is the same as 3y times 4x. Sa matrix, hindi guys. Pwedeng multiplicable yung mauna isang matrix, pero yung baliktad niya, pwedeng hindi pa pwede. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, na-generate na natin guys si E at saka si F. Okay, let's generate an object called G, which is F times E. So ang matrix multiplication guys, hindi lang asterisk. It's percentage, asterisk, percentage. Okay, ano muna si F guys? F is, ano size ni F? Lapit ang time guys. F is 2 by 3. Si E, 3 by 2. Anong resultant matrix na to guys? Ano size ni G?
2 by 2 po.
2 by 2. So, run natin to. Okay. As expected, G is 2 by 2. Si H naman, which is E times F on the other, 3 by 3 yan. Okay, so magkaiba sila. Okay? So, it's already time, guys. Pakipanood sana yung video, tapos ito, pakigawa na lang to. Kindly follow this. Okay, these are self-explanatory. Okay, pero we'll go through this, we'll run through this. At saka may example pa ako dito ng matrix multiplication na pinost ko. Okay, I hope you'll follow this. Kasi next meeting sana guys, ang gusto ko sana as much as possible, hindi na tayo mag-matrix eh. Pero kung kailangan nyo pa rin, we'll do that. Kasi gusto ko sana next meeting, GG plot 2 na tayo. Okay, let's just decide. By the way guys, may I make a request? Pag pinari nag-i-email ako ng announcement, may kailangan ipapagawa ako sa inyo. Kindly acknowledge yung ano na lang, yung message. Kasi hindi ko alam kung nalalaman nyo o nababasa nyo yung announcement sa Canvas. Okay? So, are there any questions?